On April 21st, 2015, Killing Floor 2 entered its early access state almost 11 years ago. Fast forwarding 1 year later, the game got its full release on November 2016. So we're basically approaching the 11th and 10th year of Killing Floor 2, so I decided to make a video discussing the game, some of the things that I enjoyed about the game, and judging it off of its current state 10 years later. So if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to smack a like on it, and let me know down below your guys' opinions and experiences on Killing Floor 2 over the last decade. Playing Killing Floor 2 in 2026 is an absolute treat. The game really does feel like a complete package 10 years later, with there being so many perks, so many weapons, so many maps, and so many different variations of enemies. It's just an amazing game looking at it after these 10 years have passed. Initially, in the early access state, this game was pretty bare bones. There was only a few select maps with a few select perks and weapons, but over time, obviously in the last decade, so many things have changed. Some of my favorite things about Killing Floor 2 was always the quarterly updates, with the seasonal updates themed around these seasons in real time. So if you hopped on the game at the end of the year, you're going to get the Christmas update. If you hop in at the summer, you're going to get the summer sideshow event. Also, looking at the Halloween event, which was one of my favorite updates that Killing Floor 2 has ever released, period. The Hans Volter Monster Ball map will go down as one of my favorite updates and maps that I've ever played in a co-op slash always live service, I guess you could say, kind of game with these rollout updates. This was truly something special, and every single quarter of the year that they would release these seasonal updates, it kept being like they were topping themselves over and over again. Over the last 10 years of me playing Killing Floor 2, most of my time was spent playing the game on consoles, but just recently, about 3 years ago, which isn't too recent, I decided to get on PC and see what the community was all about. Now on PC, there is a ton of modded maps, which basically just adds endless content to the game. Some of these maps are very impressive, kind of reminded me of the Black Ops 3 custom mod community. Mods in games like this absolutely do keep the game alive and the player base strong. For the longest time, I was on console playing the game, as I said, to where mainly I was focused on the seasonal updates with the maps rolled out by them, which in some cases were fully remastered releases of the modded maps into the real game. So they definitely did appreciate a lot of the fans and the fan creations for this game. Now that leads into Killing Floor 3. So 2 points that I just made initially were the seasonal updates with the holiday themed Zeds and the modded map support, which just led for endless content possibilities, where Tripwire was even releasing the fan-made mod maps as maps that were coming over to console. With Killing Floor 3, it lacks both of these features, which is absolutely disappointing. Killing Floor 2 is basically built off of its community and its mod support on Steam, that the fact that this game on Killing Floor 3 does not really have the mod support or the seasonal updates is something that is going to really hurt the game. Looking at the game over a decade later, I can say that I do appreciate all of the maps and all of the content that Tripwire added to the game, but I can't lie that at one point in time, everyone was just begging them to make a Killing Floor 3. We were fed up with some of these maps that were getting ported over, the constant addition of new weapons that were about $10 each unless you bought the season pass, which was also a decent price, to where fans were vocalizing their opinions on the game and the current state with the content rollouts, that they were like, alright, we've had enough Killing Floor 2, let's get Killing Floor 3 going. And honestly, looking back at it, I do feel like a lot of the player base was a little bit kind of not being grateful for the amount of content, and I do understand, like, there's so many season passes with so many different weapons, and it did get to the point where it felt a little bit stale, and it felt like the same thing going on over and over again. But looking back at it, this game was a very, very successful game, and the content just kept coming, and the fans kept complaining, which is true. I was complaining as well, And looking at Killing Floor 3 now, I didn't really realize how good we all had it on Killing Floor 2 until I look back, unfortunately. Some of my favorite things about Killing Floor 2 probably go to the progression system. I really did enjoy the 25 levels with the addition of the Prestige and the Dash Vault, where every time you would Prestige, you would get some sort of perk-themed item, whether it being a skin for your gun, a skin for your knife, to just give you a little bit of an incentive to max out and then Prestige. So I really did enjoy that system in Killing Floor 2, and something like a Black Ops 3 with the custom maps on that game, you can't really level up your profile while playing the custom mods offline, but with Killing Floor 2, you can progress your account with the modded maps, so it just really feels like you're playing vanilla Killing Floor 2, leveling up on Steam, instead of actually playing only the official maps. Because with Black Ops 3, with the customs, you're only able to level up while playing on the original map, so you can't play a modded map on Black Ops 3 and progress your account and level up. So Killing Floor 2 really had the progression down with the prestiging, with the skins, the items that you unlock every time you do prestige, which did really make it an enjoyable experience. Looking at something like Killing Floor 3 now, you only have your base 30 levels with no prestige, and obviously that's something that's going to be added over time, but Killing Floor 2 as of now is just the more complete package for me. This video was kind of me just putting my thoughts together and reminiscing about a lot of things I did enjoy on Killing Floor 2 over the last decade, with a little bit of compare and contrast between Killing Floor 2 and Killing Floor 3. So I also have another video on my channel where we check out Killing Floor 3 at its current state, but I wanted to focus more on the discussion of Killing Floor 2 in this video, just to pay homage to the game after its almost 10 to 11 years, however you want to look at it, being playable in 2026. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to smack a like on it and let me know down below what you guys think of the current state of Killing Floor 2. Obviously the game's not really going to change much in the next couple years, just based on how it's basically 10 years old and the content is done. I could see them absolutely nuking Killing Floor 3 and then continuing content for the game, but I think Killing Floor 2 is done, and Tripwire as a studio might not be going much further depending on the outcome of Killing Floor 3. You guys can check that out in my latest video on the channel. So if you enjoyed, like I said, do all that good stuff, and I'm out, man. Peace.